and think about the universe. There is a cliche quote all over social media that our planet is revolving around a big glob of fire on an imaginary axis, and we say we don't believe in miracles. Think about the big glob of fire, these continents, these arbitrary border we've drawn on a floating rock, and the imaginary axis that spins us. As we fly through space, we have a powerful free world, where we can meet one another, where we can connect all those dots to weave our social fabric tighter together. Upon this miracle of our natural world, our social world, we've created a miracle itself, an evolving network of unforeseen and limitless human connections. An unexpected connection with my world turned me around that globe, over that axis, when I was 21 years old. Two friends and I were volunteering in an orphanage called Light for New Nepal in the north of Kathmandu. There I met these amazing 14 children that blew my mind with their self-expression, their creativity, their confidence, and the stories that they shared with me. But soon into the volunteering, I learned that these children were being abused, molested, and being deprived of food and education. I knew that I had to do something, and I couldn't turn away. So with the help of the community and the police, we shut this orphanage down overnight and took these kids to my friend's apartment. The next day, we looked at these kids and we told ourselves, oh my God. What have we done? We didn't know what was next. We didn't know if this was our best choice, but all we knew was that the lives of these kids mattered more than my own discomfort. So I picked up the phone and I started calling all possible schools, boarding schools, asking them if you can take these kids in. But I started hitting dead end because nobody knew where these kids came from. They didn't know the families that these kids came from, so they didn't want to take that risk. Meeting these kids was a miracle, and miracles don't happen in isolation. Just when I was losing hope, I met Prema Zimba, the founder of a small school called Life Vision Academy. And she came and told me, Haushala, you can bring these kids to my facility, but bring one thing, just one thing, that is food, because I'll need that for these kids. So instantly, I called my friends, family, and asked them, can you drop in rice, sacks of rice, whatever you guys can, in the school or in our own homes? And they did. So with the help of the community, we registered our initiative as an NGO, a non-governmental organization, that would help to sustain and give a right-based approach to children, women, and minorities in Nepal. If I, who I call myself a young, powerful, educated woman, and I didn't do what I did in 2009, I think so that would have been the biggest regret of my life. Because when we have the power to change, we have the inspiration to do it. Everything else will follow you when you follow your intuition. Hi, I'm Haushala Thapa, the founder director of Children and Youth First, CUIF. And I founded Children and Youth First after that unexpected connection when I was 21.
Hi, I'm Amanda Brown, and I am the president of Children and Youth First in the USA. I joined CUIF after a very unexpected connection when I was 20. 6 years after opening her heart to these children, Haushala opened her home to her first ever American student for a homestay. I had arrived in Nepal with 22 other college students on the International Honors Program. We were studying human rights in 4 countries, and I was researching girls' education. Soon after moving in with Haushala, she brought me with her to Life Vision Academy to celebrate her 27th birthday. As soon as I met these amazing 37 children, they blew my mind with their self-expression, their creativity, their confidence, and the stories that they shared with me. I quickly learned that this school was nurturing and transforming them as a loving launch pad for critical thinkers and artists and leaders. When Haushala told me she was looking for someone to lead her American nonprofit branch to support the school, I knew I could not turn away. As a white American, I grew up watching people who looked like me insert themselves into the affairs of other countries. I was critical of their desire to fix other nations with these Western ideas and values. But in these 5 minutes, truly 5 minutes, when I was deciding whether or not to volunteer for this position, I realized that this work was different. This was an invitation, not an imposition, and it was an undeniable way to leverage my privileges for children's rights. There are certain resources that we can access here in the US that fuel the fire of locally founded, locally led organizations like CYF. We can choose charity, or we can choose solidarity. We chose the latter. Aware of my limited professional experience, but knowing that this would be an unparalleled learning opportunity, I started my senior year of college as CYF's USA Executive Director, and our stateside team has been growing ever since.
Our connection was supposed to happen for 1 month. 1 month. It has been about 2.5 years that we've been uniting across hemispheres, advocating for the rights of children, women, and minorities in Nepal. Many of us in this room, I'm sure, we come across new people, projects, and ideas. That is the easy part. But what if you didn't see that connection coming?
The two of us would not be where we are today if we had not embraced those daunting, unexpected connections and decided to run with them. We trusted our current selves in that moment more than the maps that we had drawn. And we are here today together as a testament to what can happen when you venture away from your preconceived notions of where your path is headed and you build bridges instead of safety nets.
When we started this work, we didn't have a definite plan. We didn't know how this work would look like. But all we knew was we were opening a new door to influence the lives of children, women, and minorities in Nepal, giving them sustainable, right-based education to food, health, and other services. Time was our best friend and also our biggest challenge. There were moments when we were racing against the clock to make decisions, and there were times when we were learning by doing, putting each puzzle piece by piece. Today, we have 55 children that we support in Life Vision Academy, between the age of 3 years old to 17 years old. Children who've previously been deprived of food, education, and a fulfilling childhood. We meet our children through random connections, through friends of friends, through neighbors, through media, through agencies and non-governmental organizations that work for women and children. When we meet a new child, our world turns upside down, flips over that axis again, when we have to reassess our budget, our plans, our ideas about how to integrate this child into our family.
We support each child through the end of their secondary education, and then we help them with the bridge to their next chapter, like applying for college or vocational training. Our teachers create an open learning environment where, yes, they teach the national curriculum and its standard syllabus, but they also encourage the children to immerse in unique extracurriculars like gardening, coding, breakdancing, and poetry. The children have important freedoms, like the freedom to express who they truly are, to decide what they want to do in life, and devise how they want to achieve it, and to dive into imaginary worlds of what the future could look like. Each child works hard toward their own self-created goals, which are not fragmented or restrained by adults.
Our 3 students, Raju, Isak, and Kiran, recently passed their national level exam with flying colors. They are currently pursuing hotel management, but in a typical CY fashion, they also pursue their passion. Giving you an example of Raju, when he comes back from classes and comes back home, he makes furniture out of thrown away garbage. That means he's doing carpentry, because he feels that that is where his energy can be thrown into. And he says that when he grows up, he would like to design the furnitures of the hotel that he works for. And I hope that works for him. We trust our kids to use their vision and their creative energies to what it fits at that moment. And that is a similar path that we've taken as well, but with the support of the community and our parents. We have our international friends from around the world, people who believe in the work we do, who believe in the children's dreams, and who mainly believe that education is for all.
We also support the work of other individuals and believe in the work they do, in the dreams of women, and in the right of opportunity for all. For the last 3 years, CYF has been providing free knitting and sewing trainings to the mothers of the students at our school and to other women in our community. Our cooperative is named Haushala because it means encouragement. And we are encouraging women to cultivate that power that they already inherently possess. The artisans sell their handicrafts in person and online to build their own social and financial independence. And then they donate half their profits to sustain our school. Together, we are encouraging people to buy handmade, encouraging women to learn new life skills, and helping Life Vision Academy see the light of tomorrow. Cultivating a project can be beautiful and world-changing, but it can also be scary and exhausting. When people trust you, you can't let them down. There's less room for error or no room at all, and you give days or nights to a person or project or an idea that you believe in. This need to balance the responsibility with the opportunity, this need to share the weight of the potential, brings to mind a lesson from our new Girls in STEM education program. Atoms can be connected in 2 ways, ionic bonds or covalent bonds. In an ionic bond, one atom gives away one or more of its own electrons to another atom, and this exchange connects them, but weakly. In a covalent bond, 2 atoms exchange their electrons, sharing that weight and remaining much stronger. When the 2 of us joined CYF, we were both eager to give away all of ourselves, all of our time, all of our energy, as you might be inclined to do if you find yourself involved with a new project that you're passionate about. But this exchange is not sustainable or for the best. The covalent bond demonstrates how we can find immense strength when we do not give too much of ourselves or take too much from another, when we actually connect in solidarity, and when we share the weight.
Human beings tend to be more emotional than an isolated atom. So it is only natural that we are hesitant when we meet with a new person, project, or an idea. We get scared. We second guess our efforts, if anything will come out of it. We think what defines success in a society. And when we joined this work, we felt all these ways, and we asked all these questions as well.
But now we know. We all grow as individuals and as a global community when we view each new interaction as an opportunity to learn and to challenge ourselves. Even when we feel terrifyingly unprepared, we cannot let our questions and our doubts paralyze us. The only question to think about is your comfort more important than the change that you could create?
The universe has no time to prepare ourselves for each new introduction, to a new person, to a new project, or an inspiration. We are on space, spinning around this big glob of fire on an imaginary axis, and we can choose whether or not to believe in miracles.
We can choose to cultivate a world of bridges instead of safety nets.
We can choose to form strong covalent bonds with those around us.
And we can choose to break through our complicity and complacency.
We can choose to embrace and encourage unforeseen situations.
If we only stay on the expected path, we predetermine our journey and we create limitations for ourselves.
But when we open our eyes,
our hearts,
our home,
and our agendas,
we take trails. We discover trails that we never thought we'd take.
And when we decide to stop being dependent on maps,
and when we cannot turn away,
and when we get uncomfortable, but we get to work,
when we realize that we can still be afraid and still thrive in the work that we love. That is when the spinning globe turns for the better and you realize that what was impossible is possible. Thank you.